What's up? Okay. I think we're live, maybe. Supposedly. Pretty confident we're live here. Okay. Oh, I gotta mute. There we go. Cool. What's up, everybody? So, I think my camera might be a little too low for this. We're gonna adjust. Still dialing this in little by little. Maybe that's a little bit better. Cool. Yeah. So I am planning on working on a new painting. This one is still going, but it's still kind of wet at some of the points that I want to tweak it. So we're going to swap back over to another project that I have. Gonna make some adjustments here. And today I haven't gotten up to too much. It's kind of a lazy Saturday morning. I do have a bunch of prep work that I have to do for my show, which is on, it's today, and it's at like, let me adjust this one more time here. Show is at 2 something today, so that's coming up quick. Okay, easy. All right, I think we're going. Anybody floating around? Doesn't look like it. Just me. Even better. So, yeah. This color, I like. The shadow, I really don't like. I want to get my vase in here. I kind of changed my composition like halfway through, so I need to revisit what it is that I was doing with this. Really, I would be happy today if I can, at a minimum, identify a good shadow color. And as I mentioned, I did change my composition ever so slightly, so I need to redraw some lines. So in doing that, I am gonna have to think about where some things are. So we can do a little bit of sketching. I'm gonna use this cadmium orange that I already have on my palette in order to do that sketching. It's very sticky paint that we've got going on here. No, this cadmium orange is kind of degraded and dead. Yeah, I'm not going to use this. Sorry, cadmium orange. Maybe we'll just use pure Naples yellow. That's not a bad idea. So I'm going to get some just general guidelines of what it is that I was working on. Kind of awkward because I'm using a reference that the sides are trimmed out. But in any case, we have the middle of this vase. I'm going to go jot down the bottom end of the vase, which is in fact pretty low. Is it really that low though? That seems a little, well, yeah, more or less. And then we come out into the middle of the canvas. It's probably not, I think I'm making it artificially a little bit too narrow. Sure. Same thing over on this other side. How high does this go though? There's the middle, maybe like at about a third. Probably about like roughly right here is the top. It tapers in quite a bit if this is the middle of my vase. I feel like I'm not giving myself enough room to... Got kind of a weird perspective on this eucalyptus, because the eucalyptus is actually not double the height of the vase. Maybe 120%, 130%. And it comes, the top end of this eucalyptus comes to like pretty much all the way to the top of this canvas. So if we've got like little eucalyptus bits, this is kind of the top end of the eucalyptus. And some of these actually come out pretty far out. Yeah, that looks right to me. I think we're really zoomed in on this perspective. Yeah, that looks pretty good. I think I might be like just a smidge too tall with this. So let's bring that down just a little tiny bit. Any chat? No chat. Oh, my camera's like way off. How did that happen? It's slowly floating. Why is that happening? Maybe. How's the quality? This is kind of a new test for me, so just really double checking all of this stuff. It looks decent. Seems like it's decent. All right. Yeah, we're gonna keep going with it. Maybe nobody's watching YouTube on a Saturday morning, and that's okay. Yeah, so what else is new? I just had somebody offer me a bunch of money to drive a box truck full of... My friend owns this business where he makes like flow toys for festivals. Not necessarily for festivals, but he advertises them a lot of festivals. They're called Flow Stars, and he's doing an event in Virginia. He just called me and he's like, I need somebody to drive the truck with all of our festival tents and setup gear. And yeah, so I'm kind of tempted because I'm like, that could be cool. On the other hand, do I really want to sit in a car and drive for 30 hours and then fly back? Not really. I think I'd kind of rather work on all my paintings and other things that I'm doing here. Hard to say. So, sussing that out. Okay. Actually, I'm gonna keep smashing this coffee. I really wish I could play music. I wonder if I have any vinyls that are like not copyrighted. That would be cool. So if that's the mouth of the vase, this is a really quite the sharp line after we hit this inflection point. Something kind of like that. When we go out, we have the mouth of the vase. I think I did these a little too high, so let's actually just pull, artificially we can pull this up. Curved lines are just a bunch of straight lines with angle changes. Totally fine. This, I think, needs to be out a little bit to the left. But it doesn't need to be just right. At least not yet. Yep, kind of lopsided looking. Let's keep tweaking this. Yeah, I did that actually way. All right, we're gonna come back into that. I think as long as I'm vertically aligned here, that should be okay. I like this right side more than I like the left side. So I'm gonna trend towards that. Yeah, I think I just did this way too narrow over here. Yeah, cool. That'll evolve over time. Next, I would love to pick out a color from my shadow that I don't hate, like this color here that I do hate. So let's do something a little warm. Cadmium orange plus what's a good thought for this? Maybe ultramarine? I have a pretty messy looking palette here. Yeah, and I have to think about the other things that I need to do before my show. One of the things that I would really love to do is take better photographs of a few of the pieces that I am planning on bringing. I took some like very mediocre photos a long time ago, especially of this bat piece, and I really need to get a good photograph of that, and then probably get a better photo of my floral that I did, especially if I'm already gonna just be taking photos. I might as well do that one. And what else? What else? I think that's it. I haven't really finished that many paintings lately, so still kind of just working on that. What do you got? Good morning. What's up, Art by London? It's interesting because I don't know necessarily who is who across my various social media platforms. Like, I know a couple Londons, but maybe you've seen me, maybe you haven't. Maybe we already have connected. Hard to say. So, if you're another handle on a different platform, give me a shout. Okay. Yeah. I was doing my like sort of weekly review. It's a thing that I often will take a good amount of time doing through the week, where I'll write down the stuff that went well, stuff that I should improve on, and so on. And kind of trying to figure out the things to do for some of my content in the future. And it's interesting because I've seen some of my stuff lately and kind of was comparing it to the things that I've worked on in the past. And it's super interesting to see how my content style has changed over time. And I was sort of reflecting on kind of a level of like, what's the word? I want to say like how naive it was, but that's not quite the word I'm looking for. How do I feel about this color? Not terrible. Wish I had like a cadmium. I have cadmium yellow deep hue. I could try that. I don't know that that's actually going to get me what I want here. It's a lot better than what I was working with. I think that'll work in the context of my painting. Okay, it is a little bit of a warmer shadow. I might need to go get more of this. But yeah, some of the stuff that I've made in the past, content-wise, I think was... I don't know, I just had a lot more like random thoughts that I was posting. I wasn't like trying to put myself in a box. And it's weird because I've read so much lately about like the way that the algorithms work and how they test your content based on X, Y, and Z. And it's all of this interesting stuff where you should have a niche so that it's predictable and yada yada. And I don't know, I was like thinking about how in the past I just made a bunch of stuff that was like, yeah, it's just essential thoughts that I have most of the time. And I took a lot more B-reel and would just shoot photos of me flexing and working on my art and that kind of thing. And it was kind of fun, but at the same time, I'm not totally sure that it was getting me the engagement that I was after. So still just kind of figuring that out. Okay, I've made a very interesting deep brown here. I think that'll work. So this shadow comes out. Let's see. So we've got a line that's just left of the middle, which kind of starts around the mouth of this vase. And it comes into some of the branches, which are going to have to be jutting out from up here. So really anything from here slightly left is okay. And it does connect with the mouth of the vase in the shadow, which is in fact just immediately beneath. Like right here. And then we have this, which pretty much connects right here. And then it does this really interesting, it has a little bit of an angle to it. I think I brought it out maybe a little too far left. Yeah, this does just have a little bit of an angle to it. And then this is actually here. And that comes up. And then this angle continues to float, and then it tapers a lot quicker. And the width is about the same as this other vase. So, seeing this line here. Something kind of like that. I feel like I didn't quite dial in the mouth of the vase though, oddly. We'll just mirror this width, although it's slightly narrower, oddly. Yeah, maybe I did get that one right the first time. I'm going to need to cover this up. I'm going to bring this angle out a little bit more here. Yeah, we're going to go with that line. It's a better choice. I'm going to need to do quite a few layers of this, so I'm not like super concerned about all of the mess ups that I just have made. Such a long running project anyway that it's gonna have some layers. It's gonna just be what it's gonna be. And then this, I think the middle of my vase, really this whole thing, the shadows actually, we hit the middle of the vase and we come down to like here. So it's no wonder I was kind of aiming for like a weird spot on this. The middle of the vase is here. And we do have a shadow that comes from here. Kind of right into the middle of this guy. Something like that. Ah, I see. Okay. So I'm saying this so that I don't forget, but my paint mix for this shadow is ultramarine blue and cadmium orange and cadmium yellow deep and alizarin crimson. And if I don't vocalize that now, then I'm gonna struggle when I have to go back and think about what color I was actually using. So hopefully I will remember where in the video I made that statement. But if I don't, then that's also okay. I'll figure it out. Yeah, I kind of like it. It's like a nice soft brown. I think it works in contrast with the background color that I was going to use. That I am using. Cool. Nice. How else are we looking? What do we got? Good morning. What's up? Is this a commission or a personal painting? This is just a painting that I'm painting for fun. I have quite a few commissions that I really should be doing, but later, you know? One of the ones that I'm working on now is not yet really dry enough to the point that I can work on it in the way that I want to work on it. I do have to keep working on the other one, which is dry, and I should start the next step. We'll be doing that very shortly. Maybe after I do my other tasks for today. I have to go unload some things out of my car, and then I have to go reload a few other things. Okay, so this tapers off. That's a nice color right here. Cool. I like this color as well as I might make it a little cooler and then do that as the table. I'm gonna need to mix my background color yet one more time and go for it everywhere else that I see. This little mix, this little arrowhead looking shape, it's a little bit funky. Bring that in, like, that's gonna be wet for a while, so I'm not gonna mess with that. So yeah, that might be it for now. Yes, I'm gonna go keep continuing my art tasks that I have for the rest of today. It's about almost 10, so I still have a few hours until I am gonna get up to my art show. And yeah, so thanks for joining. Probably gonna be live streaming again tomorrow, maybe here, maybe on TikTok. Haven't figured that out yet. I'm trying to slowly find the right cadence for each of the different platforms. And yeah, appreciate you guys joining. Thanks so much, and I'll see you later.